A new X-Men movie just came to theaters this year, a new live-action movie. So what do I think of it? Let me start off by saying that I grew up loving the X-Men. I love the comics. I loved that 90s cartoon series that I used to watch every Saturday morning. And I even have a bunch of action figures. Some of them are stacked away in like a box somewhere, but I have a few out here that I can show you. There's Wolverine. Here's Gambit, and I also have a Gambit t-shirt that I wore for this because I don't have a Wolverine shirt. And I also watched that cartoon show X-Men Evolution. You know, that show started out bad and then got good. And I also watched Wolverine and the X-Men. That was a short-lived cartoon series that had a lot of potential and unfortunately got canceled before that potential could be fully executed. I also met Steve Blum, the voice actor who voices Wolverine. I met him at San Diego Comic-Con 2011. He signed this for me. He did Wolverine's voice for me, which was very intimidating. And I even spoke to him again at this past year's San Diego Comic-Con. And I wish I could have met Cathal J. Dodd while we're at it. Regardless, whenever I say I met Steve Blum, I have to be specific and say Steve Blum. I can't say I met Wolverine because then everybody's quick to say you met Hugh Jackman, and I have to say no, I didn't meet Hugh Jackman. I met Steve Blum, and then they're like, oh, good. But what do I think of these live action movies? I can tell you now, I don't like any of them. I didn't like the first one. I didn't like the second one. I didn't like the third one. I didn't like X-Men Origins Wolverine. I didn't like X-Men First Class. You know, but to think, this is the role, Wolverine, this is the role that made Hugh Jackman famous in Hollywood. This is the role that made Hugh Jackman a star. And finally, in 2013, he took that role and made a movie that I liked. I can honestly say I liked the Wolverine. Let's talk about first what I didn't like about it. The thing that a lot of people are saying was silly was the final battle sequence. I'm gonna have to agree with that because it seemed to me that Wolverine got saved too often on that final battle sequence. You know, and we want to see Wolverine be Wolverine. We don't want to see him get saved by other people. And that also happened on the cartoon show Wolverine and the X-Men. There was a scene where a bunch of people were saving him, and then he finally came out and said, "Can you stop saving me?" I thought that was hilarious. And what was the other thing that I didn't like in this new movie? Uh, the claws. Did the claws seem over glorified and repetitive? Maybe, but then again, he has the claws. He might as well use them. We used to complain about that with those old Nintendo games. Where we just wanted to have the claws out, and yet they still gave you the option claws or no claws. What I liked about the Wolverine: awesome story, awesome screenwriting. The script was crisp. The acting was great. The dialogue was really strong in this one. It was directed by James Mangold. I really like James Mangold. I remember when he made Copland in '97, Girl Interrupted in '99, the remake of 310 to Yuma in 2007. So when I heard that he was attached to make the Wolverine, it got me interested and it made me look forward to this movie. And I'm glad I saw it. As well, the best fight sequence. There are a lot of really good fight sequences in this, but the best fight sequence was towards the end of the second act when Wolverine regained his healing ability, because for a chunk of this movie he loses his healing ability, but when he gains it back he has this awesome one-on-one fight with another samurai, and this is where we see Wolverine at his most badass we've ever seen from him in live action form. Hugh Jackman at his buffest, Wolverine at his strongest, the claws at their strongest, and the healing ability at their strongest. It's a great fight sequence. Also, this is kind of a trademark for James Mangold, is those funny close-ups. There were a lot of them in 310 to Yuma, and in the Wolverine, there's this one close-up shot of Wolverine. It's funny. He enters the shot like this. Yeah, it's really funny. Aside from that, again, great fight sequences. But the thing that adds a nice touch to this movie and makes it stand out very well and makes it a really good standalone X-Men movie is how similar it is to the source material that it's based on. Because this is based on the comic miniseries of Wolverine's first solo outing when he went to Japan and reunited with his samurai trainers and his former love. And I really liked that this movie played out like the source material, much like in 2004 when The Punisher was made. Not this one. This one. This was. I really love this movie. I think it's a masterpiece of comic book adaptations. The Wolverine may not be a masterpiece, but it's a really good summer blockbuster. And for that, I say definitely go out and see The Wolverine because this is good.